I was first inspired to write the Cherub series by my nephew Jared. He was about 13 years of age and he just reached a sort of awkward stage in his life where he couldn't find anything interesting to read, and he was getting into things like violent movies, and he was quite into rock music. He was just getting a little bit interested in girls, and I wanted to do a series that included all of those sorts of elements, the things that would appeal to a regular sort of 13-year-old. The teens in the Cherub series of books have quite a range of skills to learn to become agents. There are the kind of core skills that keep them safe, and these are things like having high levels of fitness, training for combat and things like that. And then there are skills that are specific to the operations that they do, so they learn things like computer hacking or lock picking and surveillance techniques and things like that. The unique thing about Cherub agents is that they can go undercover and do all kinds of things that adults can't. For example, terrorist groups and organisations have a real problem with people who would come along and just suddenly take a great interest in what they're doing. Whereas if a child comes along, they're just inherently much less suspicious about it, and that's the main advantage that Cherub agents have. They can go undercover in situations where adults can't. James Adams makes a great candidate for the Cherub programme because he's quite an unusual character. He's very smart, he's very clever, but Cherub doesn't just look for kids who are like really clever and really straight-laced. What they look for is someone who's a little bit unconventional. So they've got to have something about them, a little bit of a spark. They've got to be a little bit mischievous, because it's the ability to think out of the box and be creative that actually makes you a good Cherub agent. The Cherub series is a series of 12 books, and in the very first book in the series, The Recruit, it follows the story of how James and Lauren's mum dies and they first join Cherub. The second book, The Dealer, follows James on his first proper mission where he goes undercover and he's fighting against a group of drug dealers who are the biggest cocaine dealing syndicate in Europe. And as the series goes on through the 12 books, James grows up, he gets older, and he goes on different missions. He goes against motorbike gangs, he joins a religious cult, and he escapes from a prison and various other things. So over the course of the series, James grows up, and then in the 12th book, the very final one, James is about 17, almost 18 years old, and that's the end of his Cherub career.